So while you were showering, I was showing around what you did. This little contraption.
Contraption?
Well, I'm glad the bike's not gonna fall off. This is it's pretty tight on there.
How else are you gonna do it?
Are you sure we can't put 2 dirt bikes on there? We'll try next time when we have more time.
You hire someone else to do that next time.
Well, we did have a 2
Why don't you show
bike
all this?
rack.
I don't think people quite
But we didn't
understand
think
how much work
with
this is.
with the Lexus SUV on the dolly, we thought maybe the back would drop down too much. So, yeah.
People think elves do this. Jhoanna stays inside. She comes back out like 6 hours later. Oh, look, elves did this.
So why do you not tell people why you don't normally put an SUV on a dolly typically, and why
this type of dolly?
Why we are getting away with it?
With the plate on the bottom? What do you mean?
Right. Yeah. What you were telling me.
Oh.
Typically, you don't do this.
Typically, this type of dolly is for like a small car. The dolly is something you put the front wheels of a vehicle on.
Like a smaller car like yours,
And
right?
the manufacturers, I don't care what the manufacturers tell you, no one even knows what a dolly is except people that do what we do. You can never go in reverse. So you can never put yourself in a situation where you have to back up with a vehicle on a dolly. The reason being, there's a plate that moves independently from the platform itself. So if you back up in a certain way, it puts torque on the front wheels, suspension system, and axle, and it will actually rip it right off. And
so don't ever with any car, right?
Any car.
Or just an SUV.
And I just asked the lady here, that one of the maintenance people, I'm like, hey, have you ever seen anyone back up in a dolly here and rip the front of their car off? She says, yeah. So a lot of people don't know. They go buy it at Camping World or something. They put their car on
and
there.
This is not a cheap dolly. I bought this for what, $2,000 almost, $1,800.
Retails are close to $3,000.
I got it on sale.
So the main rule is, if you're towing this vehicle, you have to pull through.
And also
truck stops, gas stations, no matter what it is, you have to always have in your mind, you can never back this up.
Also, having a GX470 Lexus SUV, and this is really hard to find online, trying to even Google it. Remember, we were trying to figure out how to unlock...
Oh, the transmission disconnect. There's a button on the shifter on this type of vehicle.
Tiny plastic
that you
button.
Push down and you put it into neutral. Because if you don't put it into neutral, it's a great tip. Most people have done this. They put it into... They think to put in neutral park, they drive away and rip all the gearing and out of their SUV. That's not cheap.
So if you don't push that button
and put it in a neutral, it locks.
How do you know the button's
It's in neutral.
down?
It locks the differential, and your $80,000 SUV just became garbage.
But you can't just put it in neutral?
Nope, it's not designed that way. Because it's a manual transmission, and that goes back to a lot of us four-wheelers.
How do we know
I'm making a point.
Properly
it is. It's free will. It is. If it's not, you'll hear it. And trust me, it is.
We gotta make sure.
I'm a proponent of analog anything. And if you know what analog means, it means non-digital, non-computer driven. This is a computer driven vehicle. It has an automatic transmission, which is computer operated. A Jeep, my Honda Civic, old school Toyota Land Cruiser, a good four-wheel drive, you just put it in a neutral with your hand. It's a manual gearbox. True four-wheel drives, that's how they operate. This is not. It's run by a computer. So if you think the computer knows that you're going to put it into neutral, well, you're wrong. You have to disconnect the transmission and put it in a neutral for it to be in a neutral.
Should I get the key and show them?
You don't need to show people.
Well, it's the stick shift where it has the drive, whatever. It's
I guarantee
literally
we're
right
the only
next
people
to it.
that are transporting a GX470 on a dolly.
You would be surprised how many people
we're the only people that do stuff like
I've
this.
seen several dollies here.
Not with this.
Who knew? I didn't know.
So I'm glad I told Jhoanna that because she actually didn't know that.
I had no idea.
And she's tricky. Like,
I always learn the hard way. So we've got the pop-up camper this time so we can do some off-roading because we can't do it in the motor coach. That way we can use the dirt bike. And when we camp out, we can pop this up and then take the Lexus SUV off-roading as well. When we're camped out at a place for a couple days. Is there anything, that's really...
Yeah, all this stuff is work.
Yeah,
Elves
but what
didn't
if
come out and do any of this.
If this slipped?
All this stuff is hard
what
work,
happens?
sweat, bashed knuckles,
right, but
sprained ankles.
what happens if this slips right here?
That has nothing. That's just to tighten it. The main thing is down here. Just a ratchet with gearing. That's just to tie down. It ratchets it down. So if everything broke, if all these ratchets broke and it wasn't attached,
right?
There's a heavy-duty, high-strength chrome chain that is attached to the main. So if they both broke and the SUV started to pull off, it would be held on by this.
Right. Okay, so should we test it and make sure?
There's no way to test it unless you break it and drive down the highway and let it try to fall off.
Right. And so we've got all this locked, so no one can...
All these locks, shackles, chains...
That's where all my hundreds of keys came from. So we've got all the...
And you back it up and show how neatly it's done.
Yes,
everything's done neatly, the way it's supposed to be.
Look at that. Locks on everything. Locks on the camper.
Because I'm sure you can YouTube it. Because I've actually been in California.
Got locks on.
And been
Special
behind
locks.
someone whose horse trailer passed by me without a truck because it had fallen off, ripped through the chains, and driven right next to me in a car. So that was interesting. So it does happen.
Well, we're gonna...
Let's go.
We're ready. Finally! We gotta get the pets in the car now. Bye-bye, motor coach resort. We're off to Texas. Finally! Are you ready?
Ready to sleep.